Hey guys, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics. I am back from being a little bit sick the past 2 days, so forgive me if I'm a little out of my groove. I'm just starting to keep down food, so don't worry about me. I will make it through the day, but it's the seasonal changes here in the New York area. It's gross. I know, I'm complaining so much because I'm not in freezing cold North Dakota with the water protectors and Jordan. I know, my life is so difficult. So, and go check out those videos. But I'll get right to it. So, yesterday, I believe, or actually, yeah, it was yesterday, Mike Pence gave a speech to the Heritage Foundation. Anyone that's pretty familiar with the donor class in politics knows the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation is probably top 3 most important conservative think tanks. Oh, it's a 501c where they basically bribe politicians, and they have been instrumental ever since Ronald Reagan's presidency. And they crafted what it was like some policy outline, and they called it the Mandate for Leadership. And that's what they applied to Ronald Reagan's presidency. Have you guys been hearing the word mandate a little bit lately? I'll read from Talking Points memo, which lays out what Mike Pence said to the Heritage Foundation yesterday. Mike Pence on Tuesday night delivered a keynote speech at the event for the Heritage Foundation donors at Donald Trump's Washington, D.C. hotel, where he touted Trump's victory and listed the incoming administration's top priorities. We truly believe that our president-elect has secured a mandate for leadership, Pence said, according to the Washington Post. So basically, this is not even a dog whistle, this is a loud whistle to the Heritage Foundation saying, Heritage Foundation, we're going to do your bidding. Don't worry, mandate, mandate, mandate. And also, if you recall, the Heritage Foundation helped craft Donald Trump's basket of deplorable transition team. So the Heritage Foundation has had its paws in the Trump administration and the pending Trump administration for a long time. But this is Mike Pence saying in so many words that he's going to do the Heritage Foundation's bidding, and Donald Trump is going to. But Donald Trump hasn't exactly said Heritage Foundation-y things. We will continue. The vice president-elect said that the Trump administration would prioritize rolling back President Obama's executive actions, repealing Obamacare, and boosting defense spending. Right out of the box, you'll see the president-elect get out that pen and repeal every unconstitutional executive order that President Obama signed, Pence told the audience, according to The Hill. But do you guys remember? You may not. When Donald Trump was on his buddy's show, Sean Hannity, he said something a little bit differently. This is actually from the Daily Caller, so no liberal bias here, my friends. On the campaign trail, Trump promised to rescind every single executive order issued by Obama, but during an interview, Trump suggested that wouldn't necessarily be the case. Hannity asks, how many of these do you think you'll be able to do through rescinding executive orders? Trump says, well, I think we're going to be doing a lot of it, and I don't think we're going to have to rescind. We're going to be rescinding executive orders, but I don't think we're going to have to use many executive orders because we have a Congress that's going to go along with all of those things. And I think a lot of Democrats are going to join the train, if you want to know the truth. So sounds like you're not that interested in rescinding every single executive order that President Obama has ever laid forth. But why is Mike Pence saying that to the donor class? He's saying a lot of things to the donor class. We'll continue and then we'll get to my analysis. He added that the administration, Mike Pence, to the Heritage Foundation, added that the administration would push to quickly repeal the Affordable Care Act, lock, stock, and barrel, and that the Obama era of weakening our national defenses is over, according to The Hill. So, was Donald Trump going to repeal Obamacare, lock, stock, and barrel? Remember when he made those comments the day after he was elected to the Wall Street Journal? This is from CNN. The comments made in an interview with the Wall Street Journal signal less of a policy shift for Trump than a change from the rhetoric that helped him win the presidency just 3 days ago and could set up a fight with conservatives. Trump told the paper he was reconsidering his stance after Thursday's meeting with Obama, who urged him to protect parts of the law. Trump said he would like to keep the provision forbidding discrimination based on pre-existing conditions and to allow young Americans to remain on their parents' health care plans. Either Obamacare will be amended or repealed or replaced, he said. So that's like all three options, by the way. Acknowledging that it was Obama who met with Trump in the Oval Office for 90 minutes, who encouraged him to reconsider. I told him I will look at his suggestions, and out of respect, I will do that. Trump reiterated his plan in an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes to ensure individuals with pre-existing conditions continue to have coverage. Yes, because it happens to be one of the strongest assets, Trump said. Trump went on to explain to CBS that he would also try to keep the measure that allows young people to stay on their parents' insurance plans into age 26. We're going to very much try to keep that. It adds cost, but it's very much something we're trying to keep, Trump said, when pressed about the time between repealing and blah, 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 blah. So, Donald Trump doesn't seem to want to repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel, like Mike Pence said to the Heritage Foundation. And also, the Obama era of weakening national defense. President Obama didn't do much to weaken the national defense. And Donald Trump is saying he wants to do more than what Obama did to weaken the national defense. Donald Trump ran on a non-interventionist, platform, and I want to read to you really quickly from that. We will stop racing to topple foreign regimes that we know nothing about and we shouldn't be involved with, Mr. Trump said. Instead, our focus must be on defeating terrorism and destroying ISIS, and we will. Mr. Trump's rhetoric was similar to what he said during the election campaign when he railed against the war in Iraq. What think tank was the most pro-Iraq war in the country? It was the Heritage Foundation. So where is this discrepancy? Mike Pence reassuring the Heritage Foundation that Donald Trump is going to do things that he didn't necessarily say he was going to do. There's a huge schism between the Mike Pence wing of the Trump administration and Trump and his populism. It's also evident in how Bernie Sanders has been calling out Donald Trump. So right now the Republicans have actually just blocked a amendment to a bill that Bernie Sanders just tried to tack on to lower drug prices. And Donald Trump had promised to lower drug prices. So of course the Republicans block it because it doesn't fit their donors. And Bernie Sanders said, well, this is Trump's idea, so you are going against the president-elect. This seems like it's going to be a theme of the old school class of the Republican donors who are going up against Trump saying, yeah, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. So, who knows? Donald Trump could be actually someone who pushes the Republican Party in a different direction. But from what I'm seeing is happening is the Republican donor class is going to kind of try to dupe him into doing things that he wasn't necessarily going to do in the first place. Trump is a people pleaser, and when all the people in power are Republicans, from president to Congress to dog catcher, 66 of 99 legislatures around the country are Republican run, then of course Donald Trump's going to try to please them more. But he is going to look at the polls as well. So it makes for a very fascinating dynamic. So, I don't really know what's going to happen. But I do know that Mike Pence is working behind the scenes to make sure that the donor class is reassured and not so put off by Donald Trump's contradictory statements. I also wanted to add thank you to the very kind viewer who just pointed out that the Affordable Care Act was conceptualized by the Heritage Foundation. It was Romney's plan when he was in Massachusetts, made by the Heritage Foundation, and now was adopted by President Obama, and now they want to dismantle it. It's just complete BS, as always.